All right. First rule of this channel is we do not talk about this channel. Second rule of this channel, this is not legal advice. So welcome to the week 9 sit start show Grift. Let's see if I can help anybody out with their lineups. This week we have Denver, the Lions, San Francisco, and Jacksonville on bye. So a whole bunch of tight ends and wide receivers and running backs that are not available. So we might have to be rolling out some guys that we're probably not wanting to this week. Points. We want pieces of the Dolphins Chief. Vegas has them at implied 50. I would agree that they're going to be a lot of points scored in that game, even though it is a neutral site game. I think it's in Berlin or something like that. Seahawks Ravens, supposed to be a few points in that one. I'm not so sure that there are going to be a lot of points in that game. Other games, Buccaneers Texans, I can see being a little undervalued from a point standpoint. The Commanders and Patriots, I can see being undervalued. There might be a few more points scored in that game. Colts Panthers at 44 points. There should be a lot of points in that game. Let's see. The Cowboys and Eagles should be a lot of points at 47 points there. 50.5 for Vegas on the Bills Bengals. I would agree with that one. Might see a little bit more points in the Chargers Jets game. The Jets may surprise a little bit in that one. Chargers do have one of the worst defenses in overall football. You see down here at 31st overall in points. So to start with the Dolphins and the Chiefs, I think there's going to be a lot of points. So like we're obviously rolling Tua and Mahomes this game. Mostert, if I can get away with it, I probably wouldn't be looking to roll him out in this game. The Chiefs do have a good defense. The bigger reason why I wouldn't be rolling him out is I just don't know between Jeff Wilson and Solomon Ahmed, like how much of the work is going to be taken away from Mostert, and then how many of the touchdowns go to the passing game. I would be rolling out Isaiah Pacheco, especially because Clyde's out. So the guy that's a little bit more interesting, especially from a dynasty standpoint, if he's not already stashed in your league, would be Deneric Prince being eventually elevated to the practice squad. This may have a little bit more implications down the line for a guy like Clyde, CEH, and the rest of the Chiefs, especially Isaiah Pacheco, if they like how he rolls out, if he does roll. But I would be rolling Isaiah Pacheco out, knowing that if the game script gets a little screwy, McKinnon may eat into Pacheco. But there are so few good running backs this year that I'm probably not getting cute with anybody. Tyreek Hill, obviously, I'm rolling him out. On pace for that 2,100 yards receiving. Jalen Waddle, I'm rolling out. If you want to get sneaky outside of a stash, I could definitely see Chase Claypool being a thing this week in this higher implied passing or scoring game. Rashee Rice, I think, will have could even jump up in a wide receiver 2 land this week because of the script that could go on, and of course Kelsey's a unicorn, so we're rolling him out in this game. I think Jaren Hall is one of the sneakier plays this week from a quarterback standpoint, especially. I wouldn't be rolling him out in one quarterback leagues, but 2 quarterback leagues I could definitely see rolling him out. I've seen some interesting things said about him. I think he's a fine quarterback, maybe a little limited. I could definitely see him getting a little bit more nimbly-bimbly in this game, which is more what I would be looking for from a quarterback standpoint than just the sheer passing volume. But I think he's a sneaky play this week. No Desmond Ridder. It's going to be Taylor Heinicke. I was listening to some podcast because of how much the Vikings blitz. This may have been part of the reason why they're going to roll out Heinicke this week. I'm still going to be rolling out my Jordan Addison shares until they give me a reason otherwise. He's too valuable to be sitting and then have him blow up and then go, well, I should have known better. So I'm going to roll him out. I'm not so sure about the KJ Osborne role this week. He may be a guy in that wide receiver 3 land that I could probably go in a different direction with. Drake London is out with his groin. So if I'm going to get sneaky in this game because of the blitzing and the deep shots, Van Jefferson would be a better wide receiver 3 role. Could even be the number 1 target outside of like Bijan this week. Would not surprise me. TJ Hawkinson, again, I paid for him until I have reason otherwise to not roll him out. I'm going to roll him out. in a game that probably will overall have less volume. But a guy who's the number one or number two in the offense is usually always going to have value. And again, like I was listening that they're because of Hall, they may be rolling out more, and that would open up TJ Hawkinson and some of those underneath routes. I am going to be rolling out Kyle Pitts again, blitzing one-on-ones. I will take advantage of that, even if it's going to be a slower game script. Wouldn't be rolling out Jonnu. I just don't know how it's going to shake out. I would probably go with Kyle Pitts. I could see this week, especially with all the buys, that Akers or Madison or sneaky plays to see who falls in the end zone. The Vikings could go a lot more run heavy in this game because of the rookie quarterback. So, flipping a coin on these two guys in this particular game script, there's going to be other guys we talk about where I wouldn't necessarily be taking the chance, but I could definitely see both of them getting home in this game because of the game script. Bijan, I'm still rolling him out. I don't think that's a problem. I could definitely see that Algier has some sneaky appeal because, again, it could end up be a very grindy type game. So I could definitely see him get into it. But the main reason why I bring him up is between him and his 22% snaps last week and Cordell Patterson's 18, I could definitely see my expectations of what Bijan should be this week should be, again, muted. Let's see. So Cardinals and Browns. Kyler Murray, I guess, is a coin flip at this point. They say the news just came out that said that they haven't decided yet. I did see a Reddit report where they said that Kyler was throwing to the non-number ones and Clayton Tune was throwing to the starters. So take that with whatever grain of salt that you want. I'm obviously not going to be rolling Clayton Tune out. I think he's an okay prospect. I would like to see more of him. But I wouldn't be rolling him out against the Browns. Deshaun Watson is trending towards playing. So all my Browns pieces against the Cardinals are a good roll. DeMercado was deemed out. So Keontae Ingram is basically the only starter quality type back. If you want to run him in the back of an offensive line against the Browns, that's on you. I wouldn't be doing that. Jerome Ford, I think he had full practice participation on Friday, so I would be rolling him out, expecting hopefully that he will bust one. Kareem Hunt is probably going to be in that flex low-end running back 2 range if you have him. I don't know what to think of Pierre Strong. I could see him eating into anybody's work. You shouldn't be rolling him out, but I could definitely see that he would rain on anybody's parade with Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt this week. Hollywood Brown, I'm probably not going to be rolling out this week against the Browns. Michael Wilson didn't practice all week. I would be trending towards him not practicing. I would be more interested in playing him if he did play because I could see that Hollywood Brown would draw coverage and Michael Wilson would get advantage of that. Regardless of who's playing this week, Amari Cooper is probably going to be a roll, a boom bust wide receiver 2 at this point. If I spent on Trey McBride, I would be rolling him out. If they're going to take away those Cardinals receivers and showcase Trey McBride, I would take my chances. And it's the same thing with David Njoku, especially after that usage uptick the last 2 weeks. I would be rolling my shares out. And I do have Elijah Moore in this game as a sneaky play relative to everybody else because he might be the guy in a – how should we put this? If this is going to be a blowout and the Cardinals are going to try and take away the better options, I can see Elijah Moore finally getting home this week with Deshaun Watson. He was getting these higher opportunity games at the beginning of the season with Watson. He kind of disappeared over the last couple of weeks, so I could definitely see maybe sneakily cute rolling him out this week. The Rams, Matthew Stafford is supposed to be a coin flip. Still don't know if he's going to play. I think Brett Rippon is going to be fine to keep your toys running for the Rams if you need to be rolling them out. Jordan Love, who knows? Wouldn't be plus playing him if I didn't have to. Darrell Henderson and Royce Freeman, I think in this game script, because I could see this game getting really ugly between the two teams, between Jordan Love and Brett Rippon. Now you're guessing that basically neither of these two guys, Henderson or Freeman, are going to get the opportunity to fall in the end zone. Aaron Jones finally, I guess, didn't have an injured designation on Friday, so he could be wheels up. And again, if you're guessing between Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon, you're probably in a tough situation going forward. But I think they're fine plays against the Rams this week to catch either one of them. And the same thing with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. I think they're still fine in the wide receiver 2 land range. I would not be rolling out my Christian Washington shares. I just don't think the volume is going to be there, and Jordan Love hasn't been efficient enough to really try and get a hold of anything. Worst dart throws to be throwing out there in that flex wide receiver 3 range. Dobbs is probably not a go. If I was going to roll anybody out in this offense right now, it would be Jaden Reed. He's probably going to have the best overall target opportunity going forward. So that would be where I would be looking. And I think Higbee is an okay, sleeper at the bottom of the tight end position. If they decide that they're going to take away Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and Brett Ribbon has to go someplace else, it's likely going to be Tyler Higbee. And the floor is so much easier to be able to get from the tight end position than it is from the wide receiver position when it comes to helping me win my league. And I just don't think Luke Musgrave is necessarily a thing this week. All right, moving on to the Redskins versus the Patriots. This is an interesting game. So I'm leaning towards not playing my Redskins pieces and leaning towards actually rolling my Patriot pieces. The Redskins basically had a fire sale. They couldn't cover anybody before they traded their 2 defensive ends. Now that they've traded their 2 defensive ends, I imagine that every single Redskin game is going to turn it into a shootout. And in this case, I could see the Patriots confusing Sam Howell and having one of those predictable, not top 10 weeks. The 4.6 he had week 3 against Buffalo and the 10 points he did against the Giants. So I think that might be predictive this week. Mac Jones, outside of 2 quarterback leagues, I don't think I would necessarily be rolling him out. Scary Terry, because you probably don't have better options, and I think he's fine in that wide receiver 2 range, chasing that high volume that he's been getting lately. Curtis Samuel's been ruled out. That might make Jahan Dotson a play, but like I said in the after waiver show, Jamison Crowder being able to come in and get this command on a relatively low snap share after the injury would concern me, and I could definitely see just the way the Patriots runs thing. They are going to take away McLaurin. They're going to face they're going to force Howell to go someplace else. I could see it being Crowder. I could see it being Logan Thomas. Those guys would probably interest me a little bit better when it comes to throwing that desperation play out there. And again, with the Patriots, I probably wouldn't be going with a Demario Douglas this week. Jalen Reagor has a little bit of appeal. That would maybe be the guy that I would be looking to roll out if I was going to try and catch something. The other guy, and I should have pulled this up, and I'll talk about him in a second, is Boutte for the Patriots. I was seeing that good old Keyshawn Boutte, the rookie from LSU. Bill Belichick was actually giving a player actually some praise, which in Bill Belichick land is either very rare or he's doing it because he's trying to draw someone else off. But these guys would maybe interest me a little bit more than just how the usage has been going with Demario Douglas. Again, I don't want horizontal usage. I want vertical usage from a wide receiver. Let's see. Logan Thomas, like I said, I could see him being the beneficiary of the Patriots game plan. Hunter Henry is back in the mix this week as a low-end tight end 1 against the Redskins defense. If you're asking if it's a B-Rob week or an Antonio Gibson week or either of them, I probably wouldn't be rolling either of them against the Patriots. I don't know. But this would make it a Ramondre week and even potentially a Zeke week, getting a hold of that bad Redskins defense. All right. So Bears and Saints, probably not Tyson Bagent, probably his last start. The Saints have a very good offense or defense, excuse me. Probably not going to roll Derek Carr out this game, even though they've been playing with a higher pace of play and they are on predicted to have a lot of points scored this week. I think a lot of this may end up being Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill week. So I would not necessarily be chasing the passing upside of the Saints. DJ Moore, I think, is fine this week. If you have them, roll your good pieces. Like, don't sit guys most of the time. We do talk about some of the guys that I would bench that are a little bit higher up there. But, if you have DJ Moore, you're rolling them again, trying to get that volume, even though it's a bad matchup, if that's the situation you're in. Olave, you're probably still rolling him this week. Michael Thomas, I probably wouldn't be going with unless you're trying to catch a touchdown. Rashid Shaheed, again, probably better guys to go chasing in this game than this boom bust wide receiver 3, just because I can imagine that the Bears are going to make it trying to make it a shorter game. And there are a lot of weapons with the Saints, and this is probably not going to be projected to be a higher volume overall game for the Saints have to figure out ways to score points. I would be rolling Komet, tight end in that one, or the number 1 or number 2 option in that offense is probably not a bad week to roll him out. Again, we already talked about Taysom Hill is a good week to roll him out. I'm not rolling out any of my Bears running backs this week. That's fine. Again, I don't know which one of the 3 are going to happen. I can see the Saints taking away all the running game. And then you're trying to guess if Roshan or Evans is going to get the passing work. That's just not something I want to be playing with if I don't need to be rolling out. And I think there's a few other guys that may even be on waivers still that we could be rolling out. Seahawks and Ravens both have sneaky good defenses. I could see the point total being much closer to 30 combined points this week. So I wouldn't be rolling out Geno Smith. Lamar Jackson, again, if you paid for him, I'd be rolling him out. I wouldn't worry about the matchup. Kenneth Walker, I'd be rolling out. I would also be rolling out Zach Charbonnet just to see how this backfield shakes its way out. I'm not sure this is necessarily a Gus Bus week going downhill, running inside zone. I could definitely see it being more of a Justice Hill week if they have to throw the football a little bit more because they're not getting a lot done on in the running game on offense. DK, sure, you paid for him. Lockett, if I don't want him on my bench when he goes off. I don't think it's a Jackson Smith-Njigba week or Jake Bobo week. Again, I would just see that this is going to be an overall lower scoring game. Wouldn't be rolling out Zay Flowers, especially with the slight emergence of Rashad Bateman pushing the ball vertically. Again, I don't want horizontal receptions. I want vertical receptions. And I think he's just going to eat into Zay Flowers, whatever vertical routes Zay Flowers was getting. And then Mark Andrews, probably the overall tight end too this year. So I would be rolling him out. Buccaneers and Houston. I could see this one maybe being a little bit more of a higher scoring game, a sneaky higher scoring game. So Baker, probably not a guy I'd be rolling out just because I just don't know how much I'd be trusting Baker in this game. But the rushing floor is there, so it's something I could be looking at. CJ Stroud, I definitely think with Damian Pierce being out and Devin Singletary, moving in to take over that role, they haven't been able to run the football at all, and I could just see that the Texans just definitely open it up finally and say, hey, we're just going to throw all the time. Rachaad White, I think he's at this point pretty game script, independent. So even though I'm not expecting to get any rushing touchdowns or a lot of rushing yardage, I definitely think he could be heavily featured in the passing game. So I do like that. Again, no Damian Pierce. And if you have Devin Singletary, because of how few running backs are out there, knowing that he's probably going to get a large majority of the backfield, I would be rolling him out. I think Evans and Godwin are fine in that wide receiver 3 type wide receiver 2 range. If you got to be rolling them out, good week to be rolling out Nico. Probably not a good week to be rolling out Tank Dell in that boom bust range. But I do think it's a sneaky week to be still rolling Dalton Schultz, even though he disappointed last week. I think he could be, in that relatively safe floor, tight independent type low end tight end 1 range this week. All right. Colts and Carolina, and I think there's going to be a lot of points. I have CJ Stroud in one of my leagues, the league that I had Anthony Richardson. I am rolling CJ Stroud out again. Otherwise, I would be rolling Gardner Minshew out. I think this is a really good week to be streaming Gardner Minshew. Even a really good week to be rolling Bryce Young. The Colts are, I think, the worst defense in the league when it comes to scoring points. Let's see. Yeah, they're putting up almost 29 points a week. So, rolling out your Panthers and trying to get a hold of that, especially how much better the Panthers looked last week. 2 quarterback leaves, Bryce Young. Outside of that, I don't know if they're going to have the volume, especially because I just don't think he's going to have the nimbly-bimbly that I need to roll him out with that passing volume. Definitely a Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss week. Chuba, yeah, just because of reasons. Bad defense. He's going to get the bulk of the work. Probably no Miles Sanders. I like that. I'm rolling Pittman. I want Downs. Adam Thielen's probably fine roll. Sneaky land, Jonathan Mingo, either to roll or to stash, I think he's a good play. And again, if you're really desperate, I don't know outside of stashing if I would really do it, but I am going to be monitoring this uptick in usage, and this would be the week to see that spike because they're playing how bad a defense that's really bad. Giants and Raiders. I'm not really looking to roll out a lot of my pieces of the Giants. Obviously, if I have Saquon, I'm rolling Saquon. Aiden O'Connell, I think, is a sneaky play. 2 quarterback leagues only. Josh Jacobs, I'm really happy that I got Josh Jacobs this week. I think his Devontae Adams is going to get right. I would not be rolling Jacoby Myers out because I think this is going to be a get right week for Devontae Adams. Michael Mayer's sneaky in the mix after doing 91% snaps. So I think if they're going to get anybody else involved, it's going to be the rookie. That's after Devontae Adams. Sneaky play because of the Waller injury in this matchup where the Giants receivers aren't really a thing. It would be Daniel Bellinger. Again, the bar for tight ends is really low. Daniel Bellinger, this would be the week that I could definitely see him finishing in the top 10 land. And if I'm really desperate at wide receiver because of the situation, Wan'Dale Robinson in the PPR scam leagues would be fine. And then I'm going to start really harping on some of these guys. This is the type of year where I would be transitioning over to carrying my handcuffs. I think Zamir White is a handcuff for the Raiders, and I could definitely see the Raiders playing better in the second half. So if I have Josh Jacobs, I want to make sure that I can continue to carry over that production. One of the reasons that Josh McDaniels was fired, I guess, was the reason he chose Brian Hoyer over Aiden O'Connell. So if that's what the ownership wants to see, they want to see what they have in their younger guys. I could definitely see them just giving the entire the backfield to Zamir White if Josh Jacobs goes down. So coming up with setting my lineup, I also want to make sure that I'm stashing who appropriately I need to be stashing going into the next week. All right, Cowboys and Eagles. I'm rolling out like basically everybody in this game. Dak's a good roll. Obviously Jalen Hurts is there. Tony Pollard. I have Rico Dowdle. If you're wondering who your handcuff is for Tony Pollard, it's Rico Dowdle. DeAndre Swift, good role this week. I think he's going to be more engaged in the passing game. I don't think there's necessarily a handcuff for this. I've talked about Penny before, but I just don't think it's worth it. CD Lamb, absolutely. I'm not sure between Cooks and Gallup if there's a good way to go. It's going to be this guy's week or that guy's week, even though I would be rolling pieces out. The piece that I would be rolling out would be Jake Ferguson if I want a piece of this game. Otherwise, I'm guessing between the two guys who's going to get more work or who's going to get in the end zone. A.J. Brown, definitely. Devontae Smith, definitely. And Dallas Goedert, I'm just trying to get a piece of this game. I think it's going to be a little bit more sneaky scoring than expected. I did see that the Cowboys are having a little bit more difficulty in the passing game because of the loss of Diggs. Bills and Bengals, probably going to be a relatively even game flow between the two of them. So Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, I shouldn't have to tell you to roll those guys. James Cook, if you have him because of the bye weeks, I would be rolling him out. The guy that interests me a little bit more is Uncle Lenny. I don't even know if he's going to be active at this point. If he is active, then you might want to take a second thought about rolling James Cook out this week. I did stash him in one of my leagues. The other one was my leagues that someone picked him up before I could claim him. Joe Mixon is a good start this week against a really bad Buffalo rush defense, and Travion Williams is the cuff there. I think he's the guy to pick up if you're going to be cuffing Joe Mixon. Stephon Diggs, obviously good week. Really good week for Gabe Davis. And this would be one of the few weeks that I would talk about a guy like Khalil Shakur in the wide receiver 3 range. It's because of how much this game could turn into an absolute shootout. And getting a guy who's going to be the number 3 or number 4 option in this game for the Bills after the usage last week, I could just see the Bills abandoning the running game almost entirely and throwing it every play. So it would put him back in play after his 6 targets, 6 receptions, 92 yards last week against Tampa Bay. I could see that carrying over this week just because of the game flow. Chase and Higgins, absolutely. And finally, Dalton Kincaid, absolutely. If you're wondering about Tyler Boyd, I think that there's too much of a chance in this game that Boyd and Iovas and Trenton Williams are going to potentially Trenton Irwin are going to cut into Boyd's ability to be predictive when it comes to his ability to win you a week. All right, Chargers and Jets. I think this could be a sneaky better play for my Jets pieces this week. Again, when I'm looking at bad defenses, you see that the Chargers are the second worst overall defense when it comes to points a game. They are the worst when it comes to passing defense. And then the other one that I'm interested in is they're 24th overall when it comes to scoring defense. So I would be okay trying to roll out some of my pieces of the Jets this week, and there's only a few that I would be rolling out, and that's like Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. If you spent on them, these might be really good spike weeks for you. Obviously, I'm rolling Herbert out. Even though this is a good Jets defense, I paid for him. I'm not going to get cute. The guy to get cute with this week would be Zach Wilson, especially in 2 quarterback leagues. I don't know if I'd be rolling him out in 1 quarterback leagues. Probably better plays. Austin Eckler, absolutely. Keenan Allen. This is where it gets interesting. Probably going to have a lower floor. The 2 guys, and I'm not telling you to sit Keenan Allen. That's your decision. Josh Palmer, still no word on if he's going to practice. The 2 sneaky guys to be rolling out this week for the Chargers, Quentin Johnston, after doing 70% snaps last week with Palmer out. And if Gerald Everett doesn't play, then that automatically would put Donald Parham in that low-end tight end 1 range. So those are the guys I'd be looking at rolling. So some interesting plays in the Chargers-Jets game. And I believe that's it, unless I'm wrong with the schedules. Nope, that's all of it. So did this 27 minutes. Hope you guys, it helps somebody set their lineup, stash the last guy that needs to be stashed this week. And yeah,